Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. On today's episode of Star Wars Insight, we'll be going over some new information that is pretty crazy, and I think you guys will find it pretty cool. So Star Wars has recently came out about a month ago with a short excerpt from Master of Evil, which is a new canon Star Wars novel written by Adam Christopher, which will be releasing this November. And in this excerpt, we get some really interesting dialogue between Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, which actually takes place right after Darth Vader bled his kyber crystal in the 2017 canon Marvel comic by Charles Soule. I have a video on that, and if you've not seen it, I highly recommend to go watch it right now. But anyways, this excerpt really delves into the mind of Darth Vader and gives us some really cool insight into his early days as a Sith Lord. The most groundbreaking thing is how Darth Vader confronts Palpatine about a promise that led him down this dark path in the first place, the secret to life, as supposedly found by Darth Plagueis, and Palpatine answers that question. So this excerpt starts off with Palpatine saying, "I sense something within you, my apprentice." Vader's masked head jerked up at the words, but he did not answer. He just stared at the back of the throne. "Desire," said the Emperor. He gave a short, low chuckle as the throne turned around of its own accord until the master faced his apprentice. Only the lower portion of the Emperor's face was visible beneath his wide cowl, but the eyes of the yellow glittered from the dark shadow within. "You have a thirst for power, Lord Vader. This I am pleased with, but it's your thirst for knowledge that I find interesting." Again, the low chuckle. The Emperor leaned forward, just a little, his voice dropping to a high, sibilant whisper, the voice of an old and weazened man, which he most certainly was not, despite appearances. "Perhaps you saw something in the cave on Mustafar." Vader still did not speak, but he lowered his head in supplication to his master once more. "Or perhaps since something in that cave saw into you." At this, Vader looked up again. The Emperor's death-white face was now exposed by the lights, his features pulled back into a ridiculous grin. "Power you already have, my apprentice. The more you have, the more you seek. The thirst for it will drive you, as it drives all the Sith. This is good." The Emperor paused, and his voice dropped again. "But knowledge can be a dangerous thing. There are some aspects of the dark side you will not learn until you are ready to learn, and it is I who will decide when the time is right." "I seek only answers, my master." Lord Vader hesitated, his breathing filling the space again before he continued. "You promised to guide me along the pathways of the dark side." "Take care, Lord Vader," the Emperor snapped. "There are secrets I have shared and secrets yet to be unlocked. Your journey is still in its infancy." "Yes, my master." "Ambition is good, but it may also be your downfall." "Yes, my master." Vader looked down, then his head snapped up. "But am I ready to learn? You said you could teach me." The Emperor stood up quickly, his speed belying the apparent frailty of his body. He stepped forward on the dais and looked down at his apprentice, and he laughed, quietly, at first before the sound became a blood-curdling, witch-like cackle. "You were enamored with that story, were you not?" asked the Emperor. "The tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise." "Oh, yes, the dark side has the power to hold back death, even to venture beyond it." He stepped closer to Vader, pointing one gnarled finger at him. "That is what you want to know, is it not? The secrets that lie beyond. You think they will allow you to be reunited with her, do you not?" Vader's blank gaze did not waver from his master's glare. "It is what you promised, my master." The Emperor dropped his hand, his face twisted with sudden anger. "There is much you must learn, Lord Vader, including patience." He walked back to his throne. "Perhaps I should have not let you see the power of the virgins on Mustafar so soon." He turned back to see Vader. "Perhaps you are not ready as I thought. I have overestimated your ability to understand." Vader finally stood. As the Emperor sank slowly into his throne, Vader stepped up onto the dais, his huge frame towering over his master. "When I bled the kyber crystal in the cave, the dark side showed itself to me in a way I did not think possible. I've seen it, my master." He raised a fist and clenched it in the air. I've seen the true power of the Force. What you have taught me is only the beginning. A wry smile played over the Emperor's weazened features. Good, my apprentice. Good. Your experience on Mustafar was indeed a worthwhile exercise. It is true. There is much to understand about the dark side. Then his smile dropped, and the Emperor stood. Vader took a step backward, and his master held out both hands. But beware what it promises. The Emperor's hands snapped into claws, and from the tips of his bent fingers burst an onslaught of blue lightning, the forks of which seemed to be drawn to the shape of Vader's body, embracing him in a cradle of crackling, snapping force energy. Vader was lifted off his feet and fell backward, carried across the room by the wave of lightning. He hit the floor on his side and rolled over, the power of it cursing from the Emperor's outstretched hands. The Emperor's face twisted into a grimace of pure hatred. Okay, now this was really cool. First of all, I just want to say this is pretty huge for Star Wars. Hasn't been a book like this in a while, and getting a full excerpt like this is pretty awesome and makes me even more interested to read this book when it drops. So first off, I really like how this tied into Vader's mental state, especially after the events of the Darth Vader 2017 Marvel comic by Charles Soule. As I said earlier, I have a video breaking that down, so if you've not seen it, I highly recommend to go check that out. I like how this excerpt picks up right after Vader bleeds his kyber crystal, the crystal he took from the Jedi Kirak and Fulah, which he bled in the cave on Mustafar. That moment was really symbolic of Vader fully giving into the dark side, and now this scene shows the immediate aftermath of what he was doing when he returned to his master. What is really cool here is how it dives deep into the mind of Vader. We see that he's still obsessed with bringing back Padme, still clinging to that one promise that led him to become Darth Vader in the first place. That has been a major theme throughout the Darth Vader comics, which is Vader's grief, his anger, that lingering hope that he could somehow undo death and bring Padme back. And that is exactly what Palpatine is using against him here. Palpatine brings up the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise, the same story he told Anakin in Revenge of the Sith. He mocks him for believing it, laughs at him for chasing that power, and then twists his knife even more deeper by saying, "You think this will let you be reunited with her, don't you?" That one line just really perfectly shows how gross Sidious really is. He knows exactly how to keep Vader chained, by feeding his desire and then taking it away. And even though Vader says, "It is what you promised, my master," Palpatine still shuts him down, saying that Vader still isn't ready to understand the true nature of the dark side, and then he blasts him with Force Lightning, reminding him of exactly who is in control here. It's just such a classic Sith dynamic. Sidious builds him up and then tears him back down. He gives Vader just enough to keep him hungry, but never enough to truly learn the secrets he's after. The secrets of life and death. The story of Darth Plagueis, which he will truly never know. And I think Vader, after this excerpt, really understands and comes to terms that he will never know the full story of Darth Plagueis the Wise. And I think that's what makes this excerpt so great. It shows that even after everything, Vader still doesn't know the full truth. He's still searching for the knowledge that Palpatine once promised him, the knowledge that supposedly came from Darth Plagueis himself, but he'll never get to it. Sidious will never share those secrets. And the fact that we're already getting this kind of story still tying into the comics, Revenge of the Sith, and this new canon novel, I think it's pretty awesome. I think Master of Evil is going to explore Vader's early days as a Sith Lord, as we saw in the comics, and in a really dark and psychological way, showing just how broken and manipulated he was under Palpatine's control. Similar to how I think the book Dark Lord, The Rise of Darth Vader was. So just really to summarize this all, this excerpt really showed us what was going on after bleeding his kyber crystal, even after embracing the dark side completely, and Vader still being used. Palpatine still teases him with the story of Darth Plagueis, and only to remind him that he'll never know the true secrets of the dark side. Thanks everybody for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, hit that like button, that helps me out a lot. And let me know in the comments on what character or topic you'd like to see me cover in a lore video next. Until we meet again, my fellow sentient life forms in this vast Star Wars galaxy, may the Force be with you.